startups are ready to present their 5-minute pitch to the jury. And again, after those 5 minutes, it's time for a short Q&A with the jury. So is everyone ready? Then I would say good luck. We start with Kushil Lakhani from miiCARE. miiCube monitors the activity of the elderly in their home to keep them healthier, happier, and more connected. This includes movement and vitals such as their temperature and oxygen saturation. Kushil, good luck.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start my pitch by asking everyone to take a moment to reflect on a time that they were worried about an older relative. What were the things that you were worried about? Are they lonely, healthy, safe? In the UK, 3.5 million older adults live alone, and just like you, I'm sure their children are worried about them all the time. In fact, 30% of them will typically fall each year, and 50% of them say that TV and pets is their best form of company. Think about that for a moment. So we looked at the market and we thought that there was a solution that's existing directly tackling this problem. However, there is no affordable solution that provides companionship, health, safety, and health coaching as one integrated solution. And for this reason, the elderly are typically forced to use existing technology that's not made for them. For example, Google Home and Alexa, bulky SOS pendants, or new wearable technology like Apple Watch and Fitbit that are more made for the younger generation. So we took it back 2 years ago and worked closely with a group of elderly to develop a solution that they want and they would want to adopt. We were supported by clinicians and experts from the NHS, and the NHS actually called us Alexa for the elderly, but we're much more than that. We are an AI-based health solution that keeps the elderly healthy, safe, and more connected. The way it works is we first capture data using hardware placed around the homes. Our central hub, miiCube, will aggregate the data and send it to the cloud. In the cloud, we use AI to create behavioral models on the elderly and identify abnormalities that are sent as alerts directly to loved ones via our mobile app. And the fourth is our core differentiator, the fact that we've given our solution a voice called Monica. Monica will interact with the elderly in their homes, provide companionship, give them helpful reminders around staying active, healthy, and hydration, and so on. Our market is the over 65, and our niche is those that live alone. The numbers you see on the screen show you the size of the opportunity in our 3 key geographies. And in 4 years, we look to acquire a total of 1.4 million in older adults. This gives us a total revenue opportunity of 1.8 billion. In the market today, there are several players, but we stand out because we started with the elderly. We stand out in 3 areas. The first is that we've developed a solution that's seamless, easy to use, and doesn't require the user to be tech savvy. We've got IP-protected predictive AI capability that allows us to predict the likelihood of a fall, focusing on prevention rather than just detection. In fact, the government of the UK gave us a grant worth £500,000 to further validate and enhance this capability. And the third, our core differentiator, is that we've put companionship at its core. Now, this will allow faster adoption by the elderly and ultimately rapid scale. Our 2020 sales have been focused around securing paid pilots with big brands in the care sector that have the capability to scale the offering within their own networks. At the end of this year, we'll complete the pilots, after which we'll move into commercial agreements with the numbers that you see on the screen. As a team, we've been able to achieve a lot in a short period of time, and a big part of this is because we have 8 senior professionals from relevant backgrounds that are coming together towards the same mission. We're further supported by 5 active advisors that support us on all aspects of the business, including strategy, medical, and care sector as well. We're raising a total of 1.4 million as part of our seed round, having raised already 368K via seeders. We're discussing term sheets for £400,000, and we're looking now to cover the remaining £650,000. This will be used to fulfill pre-orders, boost marketing sales, and look to achieve a total of 3.9 million before moving to Series A. This year has been tough, with our elderly affected the most. Now is the time to be investing in a company that's at the forefront of bringing the future of healthcare to the people of today. Join us on our mission, and we can impact lives at scale. Thank you.
Well done, Kushel from miiCARE. And we go over to our judges. Welcome back to them as well. They can raise their hands if they have a question, so I can make sure that we switch to them. First off is Edith. Go ahead. And maybe
Thank you very much.
Still off. And I think maybe, yeah, there you are.
Can you tell me more about the strategy for market entry, considering the market segmentation that we have in EU? So which are your direct clients? County councils, municipalities, insurance, or the elderly people themselves?
Yes, so our focus for go-to-market has been around the care sector. And this is divided into care providers, so DOM care providers in the homes directly. And this would be what we call B2B2C. So people with existing customer bases that we partner with them and they can offer it to their customers. We also have the B2B proposition, which we've become more popular for, which is the care homes. Right now, because of COVID, care homes have a big issue with remote monitoring and stopping the spread of disease by getting carers to go in the homes. So we are actually selling a lot to care homes at the moment. But this is just for market entry and to get quick adoption of users and build our data and the users. But from this, we're able to scale to different sectors outside of care. You mentioned insurance, utilities, banks. They all have big user bases that they want to offer innovative solutions to. And they're looking for solutions like ours to partner with and offer to their customers.
Okay, thank you.
And then we move to Roma.
Yes, I have one question in terms of market competitors and how other players are approaching this sort of elderly care. You know, there are players, for example, they have this sort of people that come and they combine, you know, people care, like human beings with the technology that they have, telemedicine. So this is like a compound solution, people plus technology. How do you sort of or do you consider them as a competitors, or do you think that this part of the technology, you know, is enough for, you know, for the elderly care, and how do you see it in terms of this competition, you know, versus different type of solutions? Let's say more probably not such a combination between human and technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Human-based solutions are very expensive, and we know that. But actually, we've got a lot of people that are speaking to us right now who provide human-based care that want to partner with us because they think our offering will allow them to enhance their offering, because we've focused around the elderly. We've given them a companion. You know, humans come in for an hour a day, but what happens to the remaining 23 hours in that day? So we've developed this box that sits with them, that provides the 24/7 care, but also their loved ones will have an app that they can continuously monitor, and it will give you data around when the carer came, how long they came for. This is a big problem in the care industry where people they don't know how long the carers have come for, or even if they came at all. So these human-based companies are now working with us to enhance their offering. So they are not competitors to us. They're actually complementary to our solution.
If I may add as well, it's Kelvin, the founder of miiCARE. If I may add as well, humans get tired. They also have their limits. And what we're doing is a complementary system, especially in the care sector, is a high turnover sector. And what we're doing is when the carer leaves, the cube is there, learns about the person, and when the next carer comes in, the human will learn from the machine. This is like a joint venture between humans and machine, centered towards the person to provide care to the person.
I see that two more jury members have questions. So first we go to Sophie.
Yes, thank you. You talked about prevention and quality of life of people living alone. Could you explain some more about this preventive aspect of miiCARE?
Sure, Kelvin, that's your area.
Yeah, sure. So loneliness is an area that we've identified really bothers the elderly, because when we started the project, we spent about 2 years trying to understand, to get to the bottom of the pain points. And during that survey, there were three things that stood out for the older adults. They were worried about staying alone at home. They were worried about being asked to move into a care home. And thirdly, they were worried about running out of money. But for them to accept the technology and them not think that we are here to monitor them, we had to come up with something that they see as value. Because when you ask an elderly person, how do you feel? Are you vulnerable? They don't think they're vulnerable. Nobody thinks they're vulnerable until they have an incident. Hence why we wanted to give them the companionship. But with the companionship, it helps them not to feel lonely, is one aspect. The other thing that it does, it identifies early symptoms of certain morbidities. For example, if they start to go to the toilet more often, that could be an onset.
With that, we do have to conclude the Q&A because we're at the 5-minute mark already. Thank you so much, Kushil and Kevin from miiCARE. And this startup is focusing on the elderly who let us know that they want to be safe, healthy, and want some companionship. The miiCube from miiCARE is combining all these aspects into one solution, gathering data. They do an analysis on that. And then in the voice of Monica, they will give feedback to the elderly. So well done to them. We're moving on to our next pitch, and we're going to Italy. PatchAI is aiming to transform clinical research by patient centricity and forefront digital technologies to offer safer, faster, and more affordable medical product development to improve patients' lives. And we have joining us is Alessandro Monterosso. Good luck on your pitch.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I'm Alessandro Monterosso, co-founder and CEO at PatchAI. Did you know that to bring one molecule to the market, one new drug, it takes over $2 billion and up to 15 years? That's because the drug development process from the conception of a new molecule can reach the market through the generation of evidence, or for new drugs, personalized drugs, real-world evidence. The clinical research process, by the way, is inefficient. Indeed, during these 15 years, clinical studies called trials are conducted to take this evidence, but all of these studies are delaying, and half of the patients enrolled actually don't follow rules and don't take their therapy as prescribed. This affects the evidence generation and can cause up to $6 million lost per day to enter the market. Why? During clinical research, the data collection is done by pen and paper solutions, outdated ones. And the other 50% of the market actually use solutions that look like this. They digitalize the process, but it's not just a matter of user interface. I have a question for you all. Would you fill every day for 2 years a questionnaire that is the same over 1,000 times? I will personally do not. Indeed, during this clinical research, patients don't feel engaged. Low patient engagement is what is the common link about the clinical trials inefficiencies. But what happens if all these questionnaires and the data collection will be conversational? With PatchAI, we enter the conversational patient-reported outcomes. At PatchAI, we do engage patients and collect valuable data. How do we do that? Through our AI-powered virtual assistant, we gather behavioral data and health data from patients and use our engagement engine to produce engagement conversation strategy, while keeping pharma, doctors, and researchers updated in real time with predictive analytics. Our AI-powered empathic virtual companion changes behavior based on patient needs and has several features, such as symptom diary in real time, medication reminders and tracker, teleconsultation, video visits, and we never forget about rewarding patients, gamification. We can connect with several external devices to keep the data collection at 100% of the potential level. But do we really engage? Pen and paper solution gets a compliance of 11%. The best solution in the market of our competitors can get up to 80%. We entered the market this January, and in the first 8 months, we got 95% of adherence. Our solution is better than anything else in the market as of today. Our first success story is with Roche, one of the top pharma in the globe. we launched the first digital health solution in Italy for all oncology patients. We're also collecting real-world data for Novartis in the breakthrough therapy in the area of neuroscience. Where are we? We launched this January. This year, we gathered 2 out of the top 3 pharma globally, and we almost got $500,000 in revenue. We're working on product scalability, and we are looking forward to reach the Series A next year and to scale at a global level, becoming a digital therapeutic. We do offer a modular AI conversational platform for personalized data collection in a continuum of patient engagement from clinical research to standard practice, offering the digital engagement programs. So we can go back and forth from standard care to clinical research. There are over 28,000 potential new projects per year worth over 7 billion. And with 80 projects per year, we can get over 32 million in revenue. Our market leaders offer standard solution. We are better because we have a proprietary conversational engine and conversational chatbot, because we are adaptive and we reach an individual level of personalization. We're AI predictive, and we are 4 times faster and customizable compared to standard solution of their competitors. We're a team of almost 20 people gathered by scientists, doctors, nurses, and tech nerds, with all having experience in the pharma industry. As of today, we raised almost 1 million euros, and we are currently raising a bridge round that will lead us to Series A of 1.7 million, of which 2/3 have been committed for vertical stakeholders of the industry. Join our mission to revolutionize clinical research around patient engagement at every step. Thank you very much.
Great job, Alessandro. Let's look at our jury and see who has questions. Who wants to kick this one off? Oliver, let's go to you.
Can do it. Thank you. Thanks, Alessandro. I'm just curious because your use cases are kind of limited to clinical trials, right? But I guess the patient engagement engine could be used much more broadly than that, right? Do you have any use cases there as well?
Yes, that's why we offer a continuum from clinical research and standard clinical practice. So for example, with Novartis, we are into phase 4 studies. With Roche, we are into standard practice with our offering that is digital engagement programs. So the beauty of this is that we can create user base to actually offer our services for a broader population in standard clinical practice, and then run virtual studies going back to the research. We can, in the medium term, also offer targeted enrollment from patients from the standard care, letting patients that there is something that they can gather for, and helping pharma in the same way to actually reach their population target easily. So we do offer both research and standard clinical care.
Okay, so my question was related to the time after the clinical trials and after the product is in the market. So could this be used as a standard digital therapeutics with a, let's say, a pharmaceutical pill as a companion as well? I mean,
yes,
the answer
we are doing that with Roche. The Roche program is actually in the standard care and is going toward DTX.
Okay, thank you.
And then we move on to Iris. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. My question is regarding the competition. How easy is it to copy this, and how close is the closest competition?
Okay, the closest competition is still what we call static solution. So most of our competitors are CROs, actually the ones conducting the studies, that might offer this patient data collection. They offer apps that have these questionnaires. Why we're diverse, and where is our competitive advantage? Our engagement engine is what makes the difference. Our virtual assistant leverages behavioral and health data from the patients to try to mimic their personality and get closer to really engage them. And this is one. The other one is being a medical device as a software that's now with the new regulation will create a barrier to enter to new stakeholders for one year and a half. And of course, offering a solution that in the same moment is modular, plug and play, and fast to deploy compared to the standard. Usually there is 14 to 18 weeks of the competitors going to deploy a standard solution. We do that in 8 weeks with the level of personalization that you see.
Okay, thank you. So this means that the patient can use it without any previous training on the platform, so you can recognize speech, etc., etc. No, they can just also use it directly. The system.
Yes,
So patient can use it without any previous training before.
Exactly. So
Okay.
We got 87 points out of.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that Alessandro can elaborate on for you, jury? I think I saw maybe a hand from Antonio, but it could be that question was already answered.
I know the answer, that my question was answered, but I would like to raise another one. I think that you should take a look at solutions that actually are linked to the blisters, to the smart blisters, because basically you are only doing paperwork in another very clever way, but you completely miss the blister. Please check out them, because they can actually damage you.
Yes, I think that actually blister is an additional hardware that is not that useful, because at the end of the story, you cannot be sure that the patient took the drug just because they click on the blister. So our beauty is always also that we are a software, and you need to rely on patients, what the patients say, either with the blister checker or without the hardware.
They can also lie.
Yeah.
Patients lie, that's true.
Yeah, and that's why being a software as a service, we are way more scalable without an hardware.
Any more questions from the jury for the team of PatchAI? Or is everything clear at this moment?
Totally. Can you clarify? So just to understand, because you are using this conversational AI, so you really mean that the system doesn't need to recognize so how do you get the information about the patient, how it behaves, how it talks, etc.?
Yeah. So it's not a natural language processing. For regulatory barriers, you cannot do that in clinical research.
You have to be very brief, by the way.
Yeah, we do the data collection and conversational structures around the protocol, and then we use the behavioral data on the pattern of the usage of the app, plus the reported health status, to switch from one personality to another of the bot. That's the AI part. It's not,
okay.
Everything is guided.
And that will round up this Q&A with the jury. Thank you so much, the team from PatchAI. Yeah, and they're working on a solution to make the development of medicine and other medical products easier, because nowadays it relies too much on manual labor, so to say. They've turned it into a conversational story with the patient who has to fill out questionnaires, making it more fun and more engaging. We're moving on to our next startup, Popit. Popit is working with the world's largest pharma companies like Pfizer and Novartis on tackling the $600 billion problem of medication non-adherence. The solution they have is simple: make the medication connected. A small device is attached onto a pill blister, the packaging format for about 80% of solid drugs. And by using a patented sensor technology, Popit can automatically detect when the medication has been taken. Over to Finland, here's Timo Heikkilä. Good luck.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Yes, exactly. Speaking of the devil with blisters. So Popit makes medication connected. So why does medication need to be connected? Because the medical treatment experience has two big challenges. Challenge number one is with the patient. 50% of patients do not take their medications as they should. That's every second person. Taking medications requires too much effort, and often the importance of adherence is not really understood properly. There's no easy way for the patient to track how they take medications. Second challenge is with the industry. The packaging is analog. Making packages or medications smart is super expensive and requires a lot of work per medication. And revenue is lost too when medications are not taken. This is a last mile problem that's worth every year over $630 billion. So what if medication would be digital and connected, like heart rate, sleep, and steps already are? We make medication connected with a simple solution. Popit is easy to use and can be applied for the vast majority of solid drugs in the world. 80% of solid medications are packaged in blisters, so it made sense to start with them. Our solution has three parts: a device, an app, and a cloud. The Popit Sense device detects with patented technology when a medication is taken, like this. It is automatic and convenient for the patient, and the info of a taken medication is sent to the medically certified app via Bluetooth. And the app reminds the patient only if a dose has been missed, so no needless alerts. And the app sends this anonymous data to our cloud, from where we can send messages that support the patient within their journey like this. And Popit is already on the market and is used by patients of some of the world's largest pharma companies like Pfizer and Novartis. So with Pfizer, we have a European-wide agreement and have deployed to patients in multiple countries. The potential value of that single medication contract over the next 3 years is 8 billion euros. With Novartis, we're supporting medications in neurology globally. We also have over 20 other pharma negotiations in the pipeline. The solution is getting traction for good reasons. Let's take an example. In an ongoing collaboration with our customer A, the baseline adherence is 55%. Now, Popit is able to bring this up to 80% and above. Now, with the 25% improvement, we're contributing to new revenue, unprecedented data, and ultimately healthier patients. The improvement represents a sales upside of over $12 million per year for this one medication. Now, however, all of this would not work if patients and HCPs wouldn't get value from the product. Connected medication brings an extra tool for healthcare professionals to do research and to reduce hospital readmissions caused by poorly taken pills. And for patients, connected medication means missing fewer doses, getting better treatment outcomes, and sharing their data with their loved ones. In June, we asked some of our users how they like it, and 100% said the solution had improved their medication taking. That is a great result. The pharma market is absolutely massive, over $1.5 trillion. And on that market, we're proceeding from the expensive medications to the more widely used pills like cardiovascular and type 2 diabetes medications, but at the same time, we're expanding to other markets where connected medication provides equal value. There is competition, of course. Like take, for example, free reminder apps. The tens of pharma companies we've spoken to have told us that their patients have grown tired of the constant reminders provided by regular reminder apps. So they came to us because Popit works differently. There are no needless reminders. It's automatic and convenient for the patient. And this is important. We do not require any modifications to the product, meaning the medication can stay in its original packaging. Our business model is simple. We sell devices, we charge a recurring fee per medication per country, and are starting to monetize on the data. Last year, we made 170K revenue and are going to over double that this year. Majority of that is recurring revenue from pharma. Popit is not easy to replicate. We were just granted a patent in the US, have a patent pending in Europe, and there's more IP in the pipeline. Our team has expertise from a wide range of industries. Our CEO and CTO previously worked together to develop a smartwatch solution for the elderly. And the two Mikkos you see here, they exited their previous company to a stock-listed CRO. It's time medication became connected because that is the way how we help patients most effectively and fix the treatment experience. Thank you.
Well done, Timo, on your pitch. And I already see that Robert of our jury has a question, so go ahead.
Hi, one of your slides shows it effectively that 75% of your users are still using the product after 60 days. What do you know about about the 25% who choose not to continue to use it? What's driving that?
Yes, in many cases, some of the patients, they might even stop the treatment. So that is definitely a very big part of that. But then there are patients who don't necessarily like technology that much. They just might think that, well, actually, I'm so good, I don't really have a problem to taking my medications. I don't need support. And we do know that adherence with really poor numbers, that usually is quite an understatement. So we discussed earlier, or there was a discussion about how the patient is actually, like they might lie even. So statistics show us that 9 out of 10 patients usually they exaggerate their own adherence, which is something that Popit tackles.
Thank you.
And onward to Edith then. I think you have your sound off.
Yes, thank you very much. So you You mentioned that you have many big pharma already on board and that you did 160K revenue last year, 2019. So my question is, when did you launch the product on the market and how can you, scale up faster? Is it anything that you are, any challenge for fast growth? So when did you, launch it and what are the challenges?
Yes, we launched in late 2018. So 2018, we generated roughly 10,000 euros of revenue. So 2019 was our first full year, and it was 170,000 euros that we generated. You could say that when we signed our first B2B contract with Pfizer, that started off quite slowly, mostly because we had to do an audit. But now we are a vetted vendor. We have been audited, so now we are on the fast track, and we are actually deploying on more countries now as we speak. So we're negotiating several additional countries. I think I'm not able to disclose those, but they are European countries, and then also one pretty big country in Japan.
Okay, so you have case-based deals. It is not that now I am gonna use your platform for all our. No, it's a case by case. Correct?
Initially deals have been done so that we support the medications, and then we go country by country. But for example, with a pharmaceutical company who I'm hoping that I can announce in November, a new collaboration, they're actually looking to digitize all of their medications.
Okay, thank you.
And then we move to Oliver, who has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Also, Timo, thanks. One question, do you have any plans to go beyond a pure adherence tracker? Because you could use the whole ecosystem to provide additional services. Is it education? Is it a community? Whatever. Are there plans to really expand beyond that?
Yes, I would say like our goal is that we become a digital patient engagement hub that leverages or gathers the data so that the patient is actually able to leverage that data for their own benefit, so that they are able to access services, they're able to access more convenient offerings from, for example, an e-pharmacy. So, for example, a really concrete case. So let's say you are taking your medication, you're running low on your stock, and up comes an information box that says, hey, you are really running low on your doses. Would you like to order some more medications? And then you press the button and it's delivered to your door the next day through our partnering pharmacy. So we provide the API for partnering pharmacies to be able to do that. So it's actually about generating the data that powers then the services.
Mm-hmm. And do you also utilize the device in clinical trials? Because nowadays most of the pills are basically counted manually. Is this also a case you have in mind?
This is definitely that's what we intend to do, and we have negotiations ongoing around that.
Okay, thank you.
A few more seconds for final questions by Robert.
I understand, and you've just partly answered my question, how you sell to pharma, but how are you proposing to sell to the other customers?
So initially we have started with our B2B approach, mostly because that has provided us with most traction. But going forward, we intend to work together with pharmacy chains. So pharmacy chains are both a customer and also a channel for us.
And that's perfect because that's exactly 5 minutes. Well done, Timo. Jerry, thank you for your questions. That was our final pitch in this round by Popit, and they're looking for a solution, and they have developed a solution to track the use of medication. People simply adjust a little device to their strip, they push out their medication, and it all is tracked in the cloud, and you can read that off in the app as well, which makes it, of course, better for all